Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to bring you yet another race for the sixth season of No Stabilizers Allowed in what is going to be a very short and a very important back for back end of season sprint to the finish, with Las Vegas being our host for tonight, followed up by Qatar and Abu Dhabi, synced up with the real life F1 calendar as we close out an amazing season that has seen Max Verstappen being crowned the world champion for the fourth time and the fourth time in a row, just like Sebastian Vettel did just 11 years ago, and the previous 4 years to that. And obviously, there's a shortage of races then, and we fill that spot up with Canada as our season finale. By the looks of things, it's gonna be one man and one man only, but we're gonna check that out in a moment. We have the track map right in front of us, and this year, and in this year's game, we've seen an adjustment to the DS zone and its detection spot for the 1.2 kilometer, 1.3 kilometer straight that is going down the strip of Las Vegas here in Nevada country. And we have we have moved that back from what was originally between turns 11 and 12, and it's now just on the crest of 13, which is a very slight kink to the left, and then just before the bridge, which I don't know which one it is because I don't know the spots really that much in Vegas. You can open the wing, and it's still a huge advantage. Last year, you could easily get 8 tenths down on the driver ahead of you, and this time it's gonna be roughly 6 estimated if wings and wing gaps are very similar, of course. And yet that also makes overtakes into 12 even more unnecessary, because previously when you had a big tire advantage, you still did not want to go too early to overtake someone, even if you caught them inside that very tricky and tidy section at the top where the sector 2 started. And yeah, turns 1 to 4 is gonna be a nice surprise for the drivers, and it's gonna be more grippy, and especially with these cars more responsive, and overall high traction inside of high speed turns. We can expect them, the drivers, to push through that section. It's not that easy of a spin. The pit exit is still very tricky, and you will have to make sure that you don't step on the throttle too early, because cold tires out of the pit lane at any racetrack in this season, it's going to be tricky, and this one especially. And that leads into the end of the second sector, the first big straight with the airs, and the only straight that is without the airs is just the one between turns 16 and 17, but still a huge slipstream can be gained. So even if you get past before turn 14 on the final lap, which is going to be lap 25, you can still be vulnerable, and you need to defend the inside, because usually you go to the outside of 16 and then turn sharp into the inside of 17. But I expect some drivers to maybe get caught out, and obviously one of the most important things is gonna be staying ahead of guys you don't want to be get caught in a fight with, especially after safety car restarts or in the opening lap, where I think everything but the straight is going to be awful. And then after that, we are having probably first overtakes going to be happening soon, as you will be looking for one of the earliest detection points in terms of track length, because I think the spot you're seeing for the detection zone, even though it's in turn 2, is maybe at the same length of the track as we've seen previously 2 weeks ago in Austria, which is also very early in the lap. Let's talk driver. Let's talk standings and the result from last time. Robastian. That's the wrong one. Sorry. Didn't mean to show that. Robastian got his win taken away. The harsh defending we saw in the last lap on that straight between turns 3 and 4 was claimed irresponsible for him, and Fallison inherited that win. Control stayed in third position because of the time that was lost in between. Moksha up to fourth, good strong result on the board, puts his team up as well. Katja fifth, could have been a lot more. Miksu, better race than his debut in Belgium, and he finished sixth. Andy only in seventh, and not the best race, and he was also starting in only 11th. GR1 taking some points as well for Red Bull. Andrew 9th and 10th for T-Bran. Then the first Ferrari of Bosnian helmet, Sticky for Alpine in his debut. Kovacic, Crankyork, Pleasant Snake. And we had reserve Alpine of Quincy, Chuck Norris. All these last 4 drivers not finishing, as well as Dirio and Supermax only lasting 3 laps. Yeah, in terms of Drivers' Championship, that has not changed a lot of things, because Andy did not really score, and Fallison did not score in the first race, and he could have been right up there, as you can see. Maybe a second or third place would have been already closer, but the gap at the front is still over a race victory, and as I said before, it's only 7 races, so everything in terms of your performance and your points count. And yeah, he moves up by 2 positions into 4th, and there's just 1 point behind Control. It's probably going to be a fight at the top with these 4 drivers if the pace is there. And yeah, other than that, no major moves apart from Miksu, obviously. 5 up. Moksha, yeah, sorry, also only 5 points before that. Oh, yeah, even doubled it, or just over doubled it. Jumps 4 position into 7th. 6 positions gained by a GR1 into what is now 4 points and his first 4 points of the season. And yeah, Bosnian Helmet with his 11th position, jumping to the 2nd spot of the non-scorers into 18th. And the Constructors' Championship is, let's call it mildly, already kind of sealed. 35 points is immensely difficult to overcome. McLaren with Allison and Moksha and Williams together jumped up the order from 10th to 7th and 4th respectively. And the non-scorers losing out. Ferrari down, Aston down, Alpine down, no points. Bottom 2 even only scoring 2 on 1 occasion out of 3 races so far. That's going to be tough task, but in terms of championship overall, Mercedes versus Red Bull versus McLaren, Racing Bulls have to still be counted in because Andrew has shown some incredible pace. And we will be heading into the session now because there's nothing else to discuss, and we are just seconds away. And we have 15 drivers apparently. Let's hope that's also what I put down here. Was there sound from the game? I just have to check. Because if you don't hear anything, that's kind of sad. Are we getting another timer here? Yeah, okay, there is some sound from the game. Okay, I'm hearing it myself. Okay, that's good. Let's see, I can turn it up if it's too quiet. So, 15 drivers are gunning for the victory today, and that includes control for Red Bull. He is once again joined by his teammate, and he's already heading out into the night of this week of this Grand Prix qualifying. 18 minutes as per usual. And his teammate is GR1. And the next lineup is going to be T-Bran and Osaka is not here. Interesting. So yeah, T-Bran reserve for Alpine. Feddersen and Kovatska for McLaren. And that is the first out of 3 races that is not going to go to Robastian. Andrew and Slayer for V-Cup, strong pairing, despite not really a promising end of the season for Slayer. He scored some points in the Kickstarter, but it wasn't really comfortable, and now he has found a second win to push through. Dario and Robastian for Kickstarter. Kacha and Vincenzo are partnering for Haas tonight, and that is a reserve entry from Vincenzo, who made a mistake into turn 5. And most of the cars are already coming out. GR is also the second on the track. We have Crankyork for Williams, but no Moksha for today. And there is supposed to be an Aston Martin as well. And that's only Supermax, not Maverick. And then we have Andy Andre for Mercedes, the only Mercedes for today. And Sibo as reserve for Ferrari. That's still 15, but not the 15 I put down. So I'm missing someone here. No, apparently not. No, I put 17 down, but it's only 15. Alright, Vincenzo has caught himself and pulled himself back together as we are watching the way through the second sector that is very short in comparison to the rest, but is the most technical sector. His control is behind the only whims of Crankyork today, and he's gonna get a bit of a slipstream. He's looking to do that. I hope Crankyork is aware that he's being followed by a car, and he pulls to the left hand side to stay there and make way for the Red Bull, who went in deep and almost cut the inside of turn 15. That is one of the most unforgiving track limit warnings I can tell you, because if you run deep and you get over the curb, the track is not actually covered by the white line, and I think they should readjust that as GR1 goes completely deep into 14 and now needs to make way for Robastian, who's already on his attempt. Is Kacha in front of him? Yes, he is. Goes to second with 3/10 down, and there's a 31-1 from Robastian as Andy goes to a 31-1 as well. And next to cross the line is T-Bran, but his lap time is invalid as Kovatska is pushing to the line to go to 32.5 and makes that his 5th position for now. No Sibo. McLaren driver for the longest. Currently out in most of the league racing action I've been seeing in, and he is down in 6th and not even beaten by Andrew, despite that time not being really competitive. Dairy to a 33.2. as there's no valid lap time for Feddersen, or it's just gonna jump in a second because I've seen that before. And that's Krankjorg on his attempt. As Control is taking to the pit lane. 43.9. That's fairly slow. 3.8 seconds off of the best time. And down the strip. Landmarks left, right, and center basically. Because in the center, this temporary landmark of the Vegas track is gonna be one hell of a showdown here tonight, as T-Brand used a lot of his ERS before even getting to the line, and I think that might have hurt his lap time a lot. Goes to 32.1 as of right now, as we get the Fellison into turn 14, and he cuts the corner and makes it invalid once again. And after 2 attempts, he's left without the time, has no fuel left, and is queuing up behind. Oh, Andrew. And pushed him in a bit in. And Genzo into what is turn 12, famous for the first race, when Russell did not really see Verstappen going around him and him pushing into the Dutchman. And you can see that this bridge that hangs across with two separate layers, 2 different pathways. First one coming up is your orientation for the new DRS activation point, while the DRS detection point is just a couple of 100 meters in front. Vincenzo to 6th position on the 32.0, and we're gonna go on board with Slayer, the Cup number 43, and he is going to be heading into turn 1, braking at 100 meter. Bring the car in nicely, don't bring it in too sharp, but you need to move to the outside and then to the furthest you can do to the inside. Hug the apex tight and have a car that does not over rotate out of the corner when you're not on the throttle. Your C curb on the inside is very helpful, it's a bit of a railway that helps to steer a car. That's a bit too much in the middle for Slayer. You need to move to the outside, closer to the wall, to open up the corner, and he used that left hand side out of this tricky and twisty section. Now into turn 11, move to the outside for 12. Backstart very close, but moves to the outside eventually. There's a bit of the curb on the entry, and then blasts down the strip. You can see multiple screens lining up with the F1 intro and the drivers being shown. Caesar's Palace on the right hand side, the car park that hosted Las Vegas races for 3 years, or 2 years, with Reutemann and names like Geke Rosberg taking their respective championships in that or on that track. As we see Slayer now cross over the line, and it's a 32.9, and that is only good for 10th, but he's beating his teammate. So Fellison actually did not have a time, and with 8.5 minutes to go, he needs to be putting in one, and he spins it out. He took that line to the inside of 2. Too close to the wall, and there's no grip for you, and that's why the pit lane exit is so tricky to get right in the race later, especially with high fuel and cold ass tires. And that is a lot of oversteer from the Hungarian driver in the McLaren. As we see Control take to the line. Puts in a 31.0 and goes to the top of the session. It's provisional pole by the other Hungarian in the McLaren, in the rival team. From what we have seen inside the real championship of Formula 1 in 2024. And there's Andy Andre abandoning his attempt here, as we see that also Rubastian, they are all having their deployed use at the end, and that's a time 6/10 faster than his previous best, a 30.5. I have no idea how he does that. And there's an invalid lap from Kacha, and Vincenzo goes to 31.9 and seems to be fast on this track as of right now. As one V-Cup comes in, the other crosses the line, and they beat each other respectively again. As Derry goes to 4th, and that's a 31.707. But you have to say, even though Andrew, roughly found 9/10 of a second, it's still far out. 3/10 to the next car, and that's quite a jump. Rabke also out on track, and T-Brand is also on a lap. Has found 3/10 if the information provided by the game after the second split is correct, and we are heading into the braking zone of 14. And he goes deep, and he goes over the curb on the inside. I don't know why we have curbs on a street circuit anyway, but yeah, I don't know why the curb is not just to the inside of the wall and hugs it tight. So you, what's that? T-Bran, are you okay? Disqualified for blocking the pit lane entry, and judging by him going slowly, that was justified, but why did he go slow? That is one out of a question we have to answer later. Guy Rapke, together with Harrison, only two drivers that have not set a lap time, and that was very deep once again. And if you miss that apex, if you lose momentum on this corner, especially on exit, you are losing out big time on the straight. We are talking 2/10 at least, and I think in terms of kph and overall top speed, it's roughly 15 to 20 even. So one slight oversteer, a bit of curb on the inside, well, a bit too much curb on the inside taken by you. You're just gonna be heading towards a lap time that is starting to decline on you. As Fellersen has made it back to the track and has now started an attempt. Let's go on board with the Hungarian. He's going to the left hand side of turn 2 once again, and this time he managed to do so. Thinks that it's the best line for him. Or overall, he thinks that's the best line. Uses the entry curb as much as he can, and then goes to the outside for this section as we come around for the sphere, and now head out of it once again, as this is turn 10 and a very fast racetrack, over 6 kilometers long. That's turn 11 for you, into 12. Oh no, that was turn 9 then, okay. Sorry, I skipped one. And there is another McLaren in front of this McLaren, and there might be a slipstream that can be beneficial to any driver's track position. It's a bit there, somewhat in the distance, and Kovatska needs to move out. He does so, goes to the left. And this time the apexes are met for Fellison. His first attempt comes in at 2 minutes 30 on the clock. This is his only attempt, and he puts it into fourth on a 31.454 and needs to get a good start to make something out of this. Control starting another attempt. There's a slow lap here from Andy. Vincenzo is gone again. A red lap for Sibo. Kovatska, Slayer is on 1. This is a lot of the inside curve of 15 again. And is pushing towards the line. A 10 would beat his teammate once again. But he found more than that. Exactly 6 tenths and 10 thousandths of a second. 32.3. That's quite a jump. And that is now 8th position for the now leading V-Cup as we're watching Katja. And he has won an attempt. Vincenzo is finishing off his attempt. He's gonna commit to it. Crosses the line, goes to 6, beats Katja again. A 10th faster. Outlap done. Dario starts an attempt here. Kovatska into the pit lane. Does not improve. Fellison calls it a day. No time found to do another attempt here. It's only one shot is gonna be him sitting in P4 for now as Control takes to the first row of the grid with a 30.8. Second driver to beat the 1 minute 31s. Over the line goes Krankyok. No time set. His lap was invalid. No time set by Nocibo. Could not find anything here. But still has some EIS, and Vincenzo goes into the runoff at turn 12 as the qualifying session hits its mark. Next driver over the line. Guy Rapke with his first attempt into 5th position. Good starting positions for both of the Red Bulls right now. As we see that Katja is taking to 3rd and is the 3rd driver to reach into the 1 minute 30s. And Andy decides it's time to do what exactly? He wanted to abandon his attempt, but saw that the finish line was already there, obviously. So that's P6 now for Derry and P7 for Fallison, as Andrew did not complete another lap. And Robastian can increase his advantage. I have no idea how he finds a 30.5 inside of this track. I think a lot of times it's confidence, and he found another 10. He did find another 10 to go to a 30.4. Nocibo is abandoning his attempt. And Kranko is also not on another flyer. Did Control have something left to say about this? No, he does not. Another 4 tenths gap for second position as Robustian takes yet another pole position inside of this season. As we are left wondering what these drivers can achieve and bring to the table to beat him. And he did a 31.0 as his second attempt, it seemed like. Don't think he started off with this one. Yeah, Guy Röpke coming in clutch there. Second and fifth for Red Bull is going to be very interesting. And he beat Ferguson. And that's the end of qualifying. For you, as the Williams guys are luckily not been forced to do another repair job, just like in real life. Kick Sauber on top again. Second one starts in 6. And yeah, there's a good opportunity here to score big again. Control second, Katja third, Henry fourth. Then there's Guy Röpke, Deary, Ferguson, Vincenzo, Slayer only 9th, no Sibo 10th. Kowalska 11th, Andrew 12th, Crankyork 13, 14 Supermax, and 15 T-Bran. As he was disqualified at the end of his second attempt. As he was stopping inside of the pit lane entry. It seems like the General Motors is actually joining F1 as the 11th team. It's gonna be super interesting. I'm just gonna give you a quick break. And we are heading to 5 red lights of what's gonna be an infamous Las Vegas Grand Prix. And we are racing into what is gonna be a very short run to turn 1. As you can see that Supermax has not made the start. Control cannot take Robustian into turn 1. But Katja is also defending from Andy Andre. And there's now Guy Rapke fighting Fallison and Deary into what is going to be turn 5. As the Red Bull driver has gained a position already here. Katja to the inside of Deary, trying to fight. Supermax was disqualified for being immovable for the most time. And before you get disqualified, and huge rear bang in between Deary and Katja. And they're not gonna like this one at Kicksauber, because that was certainly a huge fight. And a moment where he needed to go the other way around this part of the left, right, left, just under the sphere. As we hit the brakes for turn 12 for the first time, and Fallison is off! Fallison is into the runoff area of 12. I think he misjudged the braking point. Sorry, just hit the mic there. And now there's gonna be a huge task for the race winner of the Austrian Grand Prix. But it's still 24 laps to go. We will have a quick look at the tires and the tire choices for the drivers as soon as we get a bit of time in, as there's now Deary that goes to the outside to defend from Katja. Here's a quick look. Only hard tires for T-Brand and Vincenzo. Currently in 10th and 11th. Vincenzo losing out at the start big time. And is fighting set T-Brand into turn 1 and has taken him in by the exit of 17. The final corner on this racetrack. As Robustian has not made his way away from the top 3. And with that I mean obviously the next 2 guys behind him in Control and Andy Andre. But Guy Rapke has lost big time with this fight. And 2.2 seconds is not gonna be the window he needs to get some sort of DRS assistance. Skowitska was fighting T-Brand. There is Fallison close to T-Brand. Here he is as well. What is the ERS looking like? Double the amount, and there's a slow moving Control to the outside of the turn. And now Andy Andre is gonna be wondering why there's no DRS for him. And now it comes very clear that overtaking someone before turn 12, and he was doing that not by intention, it wasn't voluntarily, and he lost that DRS but got that back, and he needed to push into that second, and he's now close on being down to 0% of his battery. As Seaboys fought with Vincenzo, there's been a spin by Slayer. We don't see that as of right now because the camera is not inside of the turn actually. And now Kovacs to the outside of Vincenzo, and he needs to be picking his braking point because the Haas was very close and very close to him. And our Control's mistake makes this fight a 4-way fight after Katja has taken. And he's off! And he's off! I was wondering what kind of driver's going off and down the order, and it's the Mercedes of Andy Andre. And is he showing some nerves early on, because he is certainly under pressure to do anything about this championship. And Crankyork goes off as well. Everyone inside of any skill drivers group has struggled with braking. That's the 4th guy off. We have seen Crankyork most recently. Andy, same corner, just minutes, no, merely seconds before that. And Fallison is now back into 10th position after, an early moment on lap 1, and now Katja has overtaken Control, and Guy Rapke is pushing to the inside of turn 14, side by side with the Hungarian, goes the Australian, but there's contact between teammates, and there's Control bouncing off the wall, and now Deary has taken the chance to get alongside and ahead of the Australian. Does he fancy a move into turn 1? He stays behind for now and in 4th position. But how unlucky can a chain reaction cause you to go down 3 positions while you try to take 1? Guy Rupke being robbed there a bit because of how this teammate positioned himself. And the fight unfortunately did not go his way after turning in for this 14, 15, 16 chicane where the guy ahead is changing by the second as soon as he turn in for 15. The guy on the outside is turning in for the inside, and then there's just not really room for anyone to be alongside. It is manageable to do so without contact, but it's really hurting yourself and the other guy's exit. Overall speed and time loss is just expanding at that stage. And Robustian has taken Katja and 3 seconds. And Vincenzo is off. Next driver to lock up. It does not seem to be any grip for these drivers as of right now. And Deary is looking to the inside of 14 and is taking control's 3rd position away. Oh, and there's another huge moment almost there for Deary. Corrects that car at the exit of 16, and then after that he just needed to make sure he is staying away from control, and the outside is very dirty as you try to defend the outside of 1 to make that the inside for 3 and 4. Guy Rupke has come alongside and they're now racing each other towards turn 5. The Kicksauber is very late on the brakes, uses all of the entry width of the track to stay ahead, and is now ahead by over a car, and there's a lockup and a slice from the rear by Guy Rupke, and Deary is still within the DRS of... Oh, and there's a spin by Slayer. There's a spin by Slayer with front wing damage that may cause a virtual safety car. And he has spun it again. There's no real grip. And he is still spinning and has lost another wing. There's not much action going on the track now. And he's gonna lose it again if he keeps it like this. Rear tires are gonna be hot. Position changes. 4 for Nocebo. T-Brand 5 up the order. Slayer down 5. Andy down 3. Feddersen only lost 1 position. But on overall race time he lost a huge amount of time. Because of how he was inside of one group that was supposedly to be closing in on the leaders if they started to fight. But Robustian has managed to get a 30-second gap, and Katja himself did so. And Guy Rupke seems to be rapid actually. Goes to the outside. There's another spin. And this time it's the second. Is it the second? Yeah, the second V-Cup has spun. The second V-Cup has spun. I think we're gonna see a pit stop for the guy that is now in 14th, and that's Slayer. And he puts into the pit lane and has retired from the session. Still 13 drivers to go, but he doesn't think there's a safety car coming to his rescue. As we're gonna continue in spectating the fight for 3rd. And he's using all of the overtake, all of his ES charge to make sure he's gonna get by. But the double slipstream effect for Guy Rupke. Same situation just a couple of laps later. What was the inside of 14 turns to the outside of 15, and he lost the momentum once again, and this car was very severely at the edge of traction, at the edge of the limit of grip the car and the track at that stage had. And Guy Rupke has taken control, and the inside is not really a chance to go there and do something about it. But it's still very low in grip. Fellison up into 7 has fought Andy and is now trying to regain the DS of no Sibo. And Andy was looking to the inside there into turn 5, but that has not been an opportunity, and he now does so because Fellison lost the car. Fellison lost the car there momentarily, and Kovalsky has received the 52nd turn penalty. And we're going back to the rear wing view of the Kicksauber from Derry in 3rd position. Big points up for grabs for Kicksauber. Robustian scoring the most as of right now, and there's a chance for Rapke before the DRS point, before the braking point, and he made that stick, and Control is actually losing control here. And Andy has taken Fellison into 8th, and he gets, I think, yeah, he got ghosted for that because it was so close. And there is not thinking about a chance here. And multiple groups have started to get created now. 2.1 second between Sibo and Control is gonna make life very hard for the Ferrari driver soon, because Andy is back into his DS window and Control does not seem to have any answer to what he lost in terms of pace right now. But if they start to fight once again, it's gonna make things difficult. And basically opens up the door again for him to close in. Let's see. This time rear wing a view from the Red Bull's point of view. And now the DS wing is open. The gap is allowing more air to go through the wing instead of being holed up. And if you are a technical guy and love the insights and optics of Formula 1 cars, these are not low wing spec setups in terms of visuals, because these wings seem to be very high. But F1 does not have this, and Andy is taking Sibo as Fellison is still there. Is he going for that inside move on the Turkish driver in the Ferrari as a reserve today? Goes to the outside, is usually the better line inside of this first part of the track, of the session. Usually when you get out there, even and especially after a pit stop, you're just gonna struggle for grip on the inside, and the outside is usually both for turns 2. And there's a 10-second time penalty for Guy Rapke for cutting the corner, and he left that switch to the outside of turn, that is turn 7 or 8, too late, and ran right over the inside asphalt area, and he cut at the corner. Gained a huge advantage and could stay within the DRS now. Control is close to be getting that DRS. And I think Deary is gonna think, yeah, well, it's annoying now that he's with me, but 10 seconds, yeah, it's quite a big drop. And Garobke takes third, and that has been one hell of a great showing from him so far. Skacha has clawed back some pace on the front, but also there's little ERS to him compared to... Oh, Robustian, and we almost caught the leader spinning out there. As now Kacha has found 6 tenths because of that, and Kovacs goes into the pit lane. First guy to pit on lap 9 for his regular first and probably last pit stop if there's no late intervention by a safety car. And these hard runners are not enjoying their life. They're not inside a group. They're trailing each other by 3.4 seconds, and they are in 9th and 10th respectively as of right now. And this group has bunched together. If Control is able to bring these two, Fallison and Andy Andre, together into the fight his teammates and Derry are having, there's a chance that this is gonna spice up in quick succession. And there's another mistake into turn 12. And it's Control again. He does not have control over his car inside of that section. He locks up his brakes, or I don't know, whatever is gonna be happening here. But he has the immediate chance to bounce back. And he's gonna take Andy into what is 14. And Fallison is into 5th position. Top 2 pitting from the lead. Guy Rupke moves to the pit lane. Derry needs to stay out because his teammate is inside the pit lane. And now Fallison is pulling Control and Andy Andre into the lead. And there's a spin. Someone has spun. Was there wing damage? There's wing damage to the left and to the left hand side in plate of Derry now, and he's gonna be one hell of a snack for these drivers because they are quickly coming in for him. And Guy Rupke is now effectively trying to undercut Control and Derry. Basically everyone now. Inside of this picture we are seeing right now, top 4, Sebo's dropped off completely, he needs to pit as well soon. And there's no real chance of an overcut now, if you're not inside the DS. Oh, there's Fallison into the wall! What is happening today? The guys are just not hitting their braking points. Control, twice now, Fallison twice, on the opening lap, and now again. Another huge mistake by one of the top contenders for a race win or a podium spot, and this has blown this shit wide open. Andy takes second now and is, he needs to respond to what is happening in terms of the pit stops, but see how much Robastian is already here. 2.3 behind Sebo. And the top 4 are already all pitting. Robastian takes the lead back again, and now let's look at GR1. If his outlap was shit, he's gonna pay the price for it now. And I think it was shit. And there's no front ring repair job being done by Kick Sauber. And there's another spin. Another spin by a V Cup driver today with more damage to their cars today. Vincenzo obviously on the hard tires, staying out. Katja. Andy with 3 seconds. Andy gets 3 seconds on the inside of turn 5, what looks to be the spot where he just collected another warning, and that was his 3rd overall. Where is Fallison? Why is Fallison so far down? Because of wing change. I think he hit that wall way too fast and too hard, and he changed that wing. He just now changed the wing. 3 front wing changes and 2 done by McLaren already today, as Guy Rupke goes deep. His out there was nothing to make way for an opportunity, and now we're seeing Robastian taking the advantage back, and the 1.9 seconds previously. Another 3-second time penalty, this time for Fallison on the inside of what is turn 14. Once again, proving to be tricky. There he is looking at a double Kick Sauber podium, but his front left end plate on a track that has remotely turns to the left is damaged. Despite Andy having a 3-second time penalty, he's gonna be closing in soon. And is gonna be trying to get this one done and dusted by the end, because it's still, yeah, it's roughly halfway point. Oversteer moment by Deary out of turn 8 into turn 9, and then our Mercedes driver has a chance to line this one up soon, but he needs to be aware that the the DS detection point is after this turn now, and even into the next turn. This slight kinky on the left, and now is the DS detection point. Let's look at the charges. They're very similar, but Slipstream and DRS is gonna be the main factor here today. Moves to the outside, and there is Control fighting that. Kicks Sauber as well. And Fellison is not gonna like this one. And Deary has been pushed to the outside by Control. Was there another braking mistake by Control? And now Fellison to the inside of what is 4. Turns 3 and 4 has no DS now. Also no Sibo apparently, yeah. Sometimes when both drivers, 3-second time penalty by Deary. Sometimes when two drivers get across the point at the same time, no one gets DS. And Guy Rupke is fighting that car so much. There's an already pulling out to the outside. Is he going for the inside of 12? Both having troubles. Inside of the first 14 laps of this race. Having lock-ups twice into turn 12. Fellison takes this position, but no, Sibo is just thinking, yeah mate, you just pulled the trigger too early. Now I'm just gonna get ahead of both of you. And he does so, and that is very infuriating, because he needs more time to get away and try to drive 30 seconds away from the rest of the pack. No Sibo, and there's a retirement from Deary inside of the pit lane. Why? Why are you retiring? Because of the collision? No idea why. No double podium finish. Verstappen and Katja are inside of a league of their own. Verstappen way out leading a solo charge. And Vincenzo pitted for. Is medium already? Yeah, 10 laps to go. It's not really already. Fellison stays ahead. Sibo goes deep after trying to overtake Guy Rupke, and now Vincenzo is looking to beat New Works team with the same engine he has inside of his car. Obviously in a league racing we prefer to have equal car performance, where the cars and the engine have same power outputs as well as same downforce levels. Only the setup makes, and obviously the driver's way makes the difference. Wow. And he goes to the inside line. OCP without the defense. And then the off camber of turn 5. Very tricky to get this braking and turning in right, but feels amazing if you do so. And now he needs to get the traction down. And maybe gain some time on Guy Rapke ahead, who served his 10 seconds inside of the pit stop and is still effectively fighting for what is going to be 5th position at least. And Andy under no real pressure from control, it seems to be. And Robustian takes the fastest lap of the race. Let's see what that is in terms of lap time. 32.830. The closest to that has a 33.7. Yeah, that's 9/10 slower. I don't know where he finds that time. And there's a spin by Crank York at the exit of 9, and there's damage to his front wing and debris on the track. And he's gonna be lapped by Robustian pretty soon. Pedersen has gapped Guy Rapke now, and Vincenzo made a mistake here. And is now under pressure from No Sibo again. As the race has now dialed down a bit. So he was still inside the DRS, and it's gonna be helping him to save his battery and to lunge and attack in the coming laps. He has a tire disadvantage, but Vincenzo has not found the pace he needs to be lapping faster than Guy Rapke, as there's a 10-second time penalty. Oh, and a spin! There was No Sibo almost hitting the wall at the exit of 16. Jesus Christ. Holy smokes. He caught that right in the nick of time. Yeah, don't know exactly the same amount of ERS. And the tire advantage is not helping him really. Just pulled in 2/10 at just the exit of that turn. And Guy Rapke could have had such a strong race, but that 10-second time penalty really killed it. And he could have been at least still in a fight. 2.5, 5.7. Yeah, something around where control is now. Yeah, so basically 2 seconds behind control and just in front of Pedersen. And it would have been a Red Bull at least 4-5. And Vincenzo is back into the DS now. And the exits are gonna be still as important. And there's a lot of blinking going on here. Side by side, and he is ahead by turn 5. And takes 6th position, and now needs to find half a second over the next 6 laps to get Fellerson's 5th position as well. And I can give you an update on tires. His tires are gonna be at the end of his life on the final 2 laps, as the medium is not very durable nor fast. But at this stage he can use that, and Rapke has lost the DRS and is now gonna be hunted again by Nocebo, the prey. And the hunter, the predator, the Ferrari. Oh, and there's a lunge! There's a lunge by Nocebo! And Fellerson with another 3-second time penalty, and it's now gotten even worse. Now the next two guys are also benefiting from him. 28, yeah, so Nocebo's just around the brink of where Fellerson would finish with his time penalties. But he won't be seeing that inside of this game and for some time now. From 2020 till now, you would be able to... Oh, and Sebo goes deep. Almost hits the back of Guy Rapke there. Fellerson with another 3-second time penalty. It's 9 seconds now. He has completely lost it, and he's losing the car again. Almost slamming fully into the wall. Fellerson completely out of the rhythm. Completely mad and probably very furious about how this race has developed. And he is not gonna be a happy lad, because the next guys behind have enough on him to gain from 12 seconds. 12 now. As Vincenzo's also gotten a 3-second time penalty. And Guy Rapke made this last lap very, very poorly. And Sebo once again into and another 3-second time penalty. And these fights are just being now solely claimed by time penalties. Robertian is just driving at 90, well, at 100% ES now, as there's only 40% by Kacha. When one dominating Romanian driver isn't enough, get a second one, but don't let them race at the same time. Obviously, Critical Damage decided to take a break on his own and respect it, obviously. But in terms of the action and what the league is currently providing, it's another mistake from Fellerson. Another mistake by Fellerson. Did he cook his tires? I have no idea. Can I see the rear? Let me check. Sorry. Don't think they're gonna be worn out. And he goes deep again. He goes deep and into the wall and spins it this time completely. He does not have the brake balance he needs. And his car is sideways. And he's down to 10th. And the only thing he can salvage now is going into the pit lane, repair that damage, and have a fastest lap attempt with roughly 3.5 laps to go. Sebo has taken 4 positions up the order and is still in a fight with Guy Rapke, although his position is at this stage cemented itself, because there's no chance really at the moment that he's getting that time back on Vincenzo. And another yellow flag for Kovacs. McLaren having a shocker. Not as bad as they did in the real life just a couple of hours ago. Well, 10 seconds of Fellerson cutting the corner. He's not giving two forks now. And from hero to zero. Winning in Austria to being 10th in Vegas. Fellerson has had one hell of a roller coaster ride inside of this very short season. Regroup with Kowalska to take a very strong and competitive 2023 lineup. There was fighting for almost every lap in China for what was the podium position, as Nocebo stays ahead of Guy Röpke. And they're both now, McLaren, both now in 10th and 9th position respectively. Was there damage to Vincenzo? Why the yellow flag? I did control, I think. That was control, he went wide. Suddenly 13 seconds lost. And despite all of that, no safety car or virtual safety car. And Vincenzo has closed down this gap. But honestly, with that 3-second time penalty, lap 24 already being here, I doubt that there's gonna be a chance to get that 4th position. Only if a big time penalty hits him and Guy Röpke sliding out of 15 into 16, losing a car a bit there. And Fellerson is once again into 9th, not on time penalties though. He actually did not pit to take the fastest lap. And he's defending from Kowalska on the inside of 17. And runs extremely deep into the turn. Especially deep because of the missing downforce from his front wing. And although this was not a snooze fest, I'm glad it's over. Especially as the fight for the top was boring as hell for seconds between the top two. Andy Andre caught in too much fighting, 3rd with a time penalty. Control 4th. Just gonna go to the private McLaren battle as they get very close to each other at the exit of 16. And Kowalska is ahead. And Fellerson is following him through. No, he's diving to the inside. Does he have the downforce to get the car stopped? Doesn't seem to be the case. And he gets that not done at that stage, and we are turning to what is 2 sectors ahead of us. 3.2 seconds it is now to get Probastian. The final time he brakes for turn 14. Oh, and he gets it somehow very wrong. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. He takes a third win inside of the season and has solidified him as the champion very soon. Andy only in third, Katja finishing a strong second. Mercedes driver on the podium once again. Has control, has stayed inside the top 5 despite 2 major mistakes. He wasn't really punished by because other drivers did more mistakes in the groups and the fights that happened. Made it more awkward. Sibo with a fantastic showing. I think that is my driver of the day. And he was looking to be racy throughout this whole event. Guy Rapke 7th, T-Bran 8th. Kowaska and Fellison fighting to the line, but there's a lot of penalties for Fellison. And Andre only driving without any points here today. I'm trying to remember what the top 3 looked like before the gap opened. I think Katja had a mistake. I'm just trying to recall this. I think it's hard for me. It's harder to recall the race if nothing really happened, to be honest. Because Andy got ahead, and then the DS was gone. So it was Katja basically losing the top 2 behind Robust in the DS charge. Yeah, let's see that. Maybe Guy Rupke as well. I have to skip his celebration so I can see the final result. 70 was, okay. And Sibo was P6. Fastest lap in the win, Robustian takes another 26 points. And he has only been beaten by one other driver inside of the season who just finished 10th today. Katja in second, Andy third, Control Vincenzo. No, Sibo, Guy Rapke, and then Steven Kovacs, Fellison, and Andrew. The last driver to finish, Crankyork, Diri, and Slayer. I'm trying early, and Supermax being disqualified because he probably forgot there was no formation lap, and then he did not start the race. Poor effort here today. Did not compete in qualifying, did not race. Yeah. We're gonna be heading to a quick break, and then it's gonna be drivers' interviews after today's Vegas Grand Prix. Stay tuned. We are back for some drivers' interviews after today's Vegas Grand Prix race 4 out of only 7 in this season for no stabilizers allowed. And unfortunately, top two are not being able to speak with us. So we start off with Andy Andre, our third place driver today. Obviously, Andy, at the first stage, I was thinking there's gonna be a long DS battle at the top with you, Robertson, and Kutcher. And then there was a mistake by the Haas driver. You outside of the DRS, and suddenly there was no repace. Also, a mistake by yourself, being thrown back into the pack in the midfield, and after a bit of different strategies when people try to pit and getting onto the hard tire to go to the end, you were suddenly up there and could only manage to get inside of roughly 8 seconds, especially on top of a time penalty to finish on the podium here tonight. How do you reflect on this? What must have been a very difficult Vegas Grand Prix?
Hey, yes, indeed, it was a difficult race. I'm struggling a bit with the braking references on this track, and yeah, as you saw, I completely missed the braking point in turn five, I think it is. I had my eyes on a completely different board. It's really hard to find alternative references for braking here, and if you confuse the boards, you end up just going way off. Luckily, the car was in one piece. I didn't have any damage, and I was able to fight again for the podium. Uh, it is a bit sad because I think I would have had the pace to finish in top two, maybe even with some luck and some help from the DRS, I could attack for the win. But considering the number of mistakes I made and the number of warnings for going off track, I think P3 is a fair result for my abilities on this track.
How was the track for you in qualifying? Because I saw you putting in two attempts quite early compared to most of these guys, and at the end you didn't complete your final run. Was there more in your lap, and you just weren't able to find the grip, or what you needed from the track to be good and maybe start in a higher position at the end?
Yes, P2 was definitely on the cards. I think point eight was in reach. P1 probably not. I think point five was pushing it a bit beyond my capabilities. But still, it didn't end up making too much of a difference. The guys made a few mistakes in front of me, and I managed to get up to P2 quite quickly, and even with no one behind in my DRS. So yeah, if I had just managed to keep the car more under control and stay in Rob's DRS, I think P2 would have been possible, but still not a bad result.
Yeah, obviously the next track in 1 week time in Qatar, let's say, is going to be very different. A lot of downforce is going to be put on the car compared to today, and you will need to manage track limits even more there, and it's going to be one hell of a festival for most of the drivers because a lot of drivers not only struggle with braking but track limits today. What kind of a race are you expecting? There's going to be more of the same to try to stay in the inside of the DRS, especially on this also very long straight and the only real straight in Qatar? Or what is the kind of preparation you need to be doing in terms of this race next time out?
I think Qatar is a track that suits me a bit more. I like flowing tracks when you can settle into a rhythm. Here in Vegas with these long straights, you kind of get maybe bored is it's too harsh of a word, but you kind of lose focus by uh, being so relaxed for such a long time, and it's easy to make a mistake when approaching the braking zone, and especially when going on the throttle. If you're not completely on it and just feeling the limit of grip, it's very easy to lose the back around here and end up in a wall. And in that respect, Qatar is a track that's I think a bit more forgiving, and yeah, well, it'll probably suit me a bit more.
Okay, looking forward to what you can produce, and maybe see you on another podium step next time out in Qatar. Have a good week. And we move
Yes,
on.
thank you.
Yeah, and we move on to our winner to this race prior, and it was a very yeah, let's say learning experience for you, Fallison. After that uh, penalty given to Robastian at the end of the Australian Grand Prix, you won that and took the what is the only victory of another driver after today's race. And yeah, there was something about braking, and he touched on, and multiple drivers, including another top guy, Control, who just finished in fourth with 13 seconds off of the podium position. Wasn't really something that you guys seem to be liking today, to stop the car at the right time, or whatever the reason was. Give us a quick reaction and reflection on the race, please.
I was struggling so much today. Basically, for the past week and a half, I've been practicing for ACC, so I've been driving GT cars, and the braking is totally different. And all I've been concentrating was that. So I had like 1 hour practice today for this race, and obviously it wasn't enough. I was struggling the whole way through, and then I just kept losing my wings. So yeah, it was a very hard race, but I enjoyed the last couple of laps fighting with my teammate, messing around. But yeah, it's a disappointing day for
It's
us.
very ironic that you left a team that gives you wings to go to McLaren, but that's a story for another time. Obviously, talking about the next opportunity, usually when a race like this happens, you want to move on, but as we both know, there's an opportunity to correct this horrible experience for today, from today tomorrow. But in terms of this league, we're gonna be looking also at Losail. What do you think does this track bring to you? What may suit you strongly, and maybe give you another opportunity next time out?
I will definitely feel a lot more comfortable there because of the high downforce. It's so much easier to drive, but it is easier for everyone. So I don't think anybody else is gonna make really big mistakes. Um, but yeah, I definitely fancy my chances more there than today. Well, I can only go up from here.
That is true. That is true. Obviously, there was also one talking point in terms of qualifying today. Why did you struggle so much to get a lap in? Did you just didn't feel it at stages, or were all the previous laps before your final attempt just invalidated?
Yeah, so my first one was invalidated, and then I went out on used tires, and I drove into the wall. So I broke my wing. I stopped that run straight away, and then yeah, it was just a struggle all day. Um, Hopefully tomorrow I have a little bit more time before the race, so I can practice a bit more. But
Uh,
today was yeah, it's one to forget.
Certainly. Okay, looking forward to what you can produce in Qatar next time out in 7 days' time. Thank you very much for your insights, and see you next time.
Yeah, yeah.
Bye. And that has been it from today's Vegas Grand Prix. Unfortunately, not the most entertaining one, to be honest with you. All of these mistakes and opening up gaps in groups with different pace windows. We saw it in qualifying, over 3 seconds between the top and the bottom. Really made for a difficult entertainment today. Robastian took a very strong and decisive 26 points today, and is gonna be, yeah, maybe also looking already at closing this one out, because Katja didn't really put a good performance in the previous races, and he wasn't second to Robastian. So yeah, I think that's gonna be a tough one to swallow. And obviously, when you win 3 races in the seven race, 7 race calendar, it's gonna be huge advantage over the next guy if he doesn't finish second all of the time, and that hasn't happened. So yeah, Qatar might also be already the crowning of a champion again, and we were looking into an hopefully a longer season at the start of next year in 2025. There is a chance that we get a completely different race, but I don't fancy the chances we get in terms of check limits and time penalties, because that's gonna ruin races and results. But that is the nature of Qatar, and as both of the drivers we just talked to discussed, I don't is gonna be the main talking point in terms of setup and how you want to approach, especially the third sector, triple right-hander into a very fast left, and also a medium speed final turn with that rear-rimmed pit entry. Gonna be interesting, gonna be a fun and hopefully very entertaining fifth race of the season. My name has been Herman the German. As always, if you want to see more of this league, check out their YouTube VODs, and it's gonna be no stabilizers allowed on YouTube. If you want to see more of this live, make sure you leave this channel a follow and tune in next time as we're to Losail at the 2nd of December as we approach the Christmas season and the end of this very short but very fast season. Take care, have a great evening and a great rest of your week, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.